lived there 3 years. Ended up buying a home, long story, but it got transitioned into a Wyndham property. So we were really homeless. And during that period of time, we traveled a lot and stumbled upon Serenbe. Lived in Serenbe for a year. If you don't know where the heck that is, it's 45 minutes from here in Chat Hills, kind of near Palmetto, Noonan. And that's how I ended up here. I worked in Fayetteville for 2 years, and then that pandemic thing happened. So I now live in Noonan, right on Lake Redwine and North Shore, and this is home now. I don't miss the snow. It's a little chilly this morning. My hands are turning. I'm reminding myself of Boston, but so that's a little bit about. You can go ahead and yeah. So, like, what is this crazy lady doing here, and how did she get in Georgia? So I don't have the accent, although I don't sound like I'm Boston either, I'm told. So we're going to start a little bit with my story. That's a little bit of the nice to meet you. And I, by the way, did not know about either 1 million cups until about a month ago. I was like, what is this 1 million what? But a student of mine, I ran a performing arts studio for 20 years. And you usually get to know students if you're a dance teacher from 3 to 18. They go to college and you never see them again. And then about 30 years later, the phone rang, and it was one of my students with mascara running down her face. She was getting divorced, and she heard about my business and what I do, and I hadn't seen her. Her name is Jen. And fast forward, she told me about 1 million cups and said, you need to go speak and share the word. So just a bit of statistics. So before I get into what I do, but most people don't know this. I certainly didn't. But did you know that divorce is a $50 billion industry? Who knew that? Anybody? Join the club, get to the back of the line. No one knows that. It truly is an industry. And that's okay, but it's sort of a labyrinthine system made to make families fight and argue with each other, which is unfortunate, right? Now, 30 to 50% of marriage ends in divorce. Now, why is there a range? Well, it depends on how long you've been married. Depends on if you have children, depends on the situation that you're in. It isn't always a given that it's 35 or 50. So if you've been married 2 years and have no children, it might be a very different scenario if you've been married 30 and have 7, right? So do you live in Oklahoma City? Are you in LA? Are you in Atlanta? So there's another, statistics, but just so you know, about half of marriages do end in divorce. So you can see why this is important. Not going to ask, for a show of hands, but I bet some of you have been either divorced or affected by it. Now, for the men in the room, 70% of divorce is filed by women. You probably didn't want to know that either. And the average amount of time that women think about it in their own little private Idaho, in their head, is 2 years. And again, that's the average. Some women think about it for 10 years, some a week. So, and the other 30 is filed by men. So, ladies, it isn't just a dude thing. But there is a silver lining. 97% of divorce cases do not go to trial. That's a good thing, right? And of the 3% that does go to trial, only 1% of that 3% goes to the appeals court. Next slide. Well, next slide. Unfortunately, that was me. I endured an 8.5-year fully litigated divorce case that included a 12-day trial that took place over 9 months. And then after all that shenanigans and the preparation for it, confidentiality agreements, discovery, interrogatories, all of that nightmare for a trial, there was a 4-year Supreme Appellate Court process. I didn't even know you could have a trial nor an appeal for a divorce, but you can. So obviously it cost me a ton of money, and you can read all that. It was torture. I felt like I was living in an alternative reality for almost a decade. Didn't really understand what was going. I was numb the whole time, and it started to take a toll on me. But what started to happen, you can move to the next slide, just say, is that people started to reach out to me for help. Now, again, I'm not here to hand out business cards and to tell you that you should all get divorced. I'm not. pro-divorce by any means, but I'm really proud to say I've saved quite a few marriages. I do everything I can to make sure that I don't throw in the towel and they don't either. Now, my job is also not to convince them to stay married if they really are miserable and they're looking for an alternative solution besides staying together for the children, which is an epidemic, or living in misery. And I'm happily remarried 7 years, 6.5, who's counting? You forget. I know. And the statistics are that people don't realize that 85% of divorced people will remarry within 5 years. So you can see how now 60% of second marriage and 70% of third marriage could become an additional problem. We live in this world of, well, if it doesn't work out, let me just, see if we can come up with something better. A little bit of a caveat to that, but next slide. So thanks. Right, so this is a little bit about now what happened. So what happened was, because my case is very rare, like 0.001%, because I'm the 1% of the 3% that went to trial, my case became really well known. Hundreds of people started to reach out to me for help. They would start with the conversation saying, hey, I heard about your case, I read about your case, but it would always end with, can you help me? And at first I would say, no, I can barely help myself. You got to be crazy. But it kept happening over and over. And this sign from God said, you can't just ignore this. There's a problem and you've got to help solve it. So I did a tremendous amount of education, training, internship, mentorship, you name it. My attorney took me under his wing and said, Paulette, you think brilliantly with this. You could have been a judge. You have the mind of a judicial mind. You're able to act like a lawyer, but not be one, just difference, and feel like a therapist. And it's a very different world. There's two sides of divorce. You've got this bowl of emotions, psychological, mental, emotional, physical, sexual, spiritual side of love and romance and marriage and divorce. But on the other side of the tracks, you've got a big spreadsheet. It's just names and numbers and dates and facts. And it's judicial, legal, financial, residential, lending, insurance, taxes. And those two worlds are extremely different and they never intersect. They don't touch, they don't overlap. And the problem is most people don't know that. They're looking for emotional justice, and that's why divorce can get so long, so expensive, and so contentious. So imagine if you could, or someone that was facing this could save $40,000 to $75,000 in legal fees. That's no joke. That's an average. 8 to 24 months in court. That's the average amount of time of a litigated divorce right now. Imagine being tied up in court, literally and figuratively, at that amount of time. And the amount of bad decision-making and heartache that goes on in that period of time just to get over it is remarkable. And that's what I solved. So just a few of statistics here, because there are, in my book, Better Divorce Blueprint, I wrote a 307-page book called Better Divorce Blueprint. This is actually the workbook. It's a hardcover workbook that goes with it. I'm fresh out of books, so I brought the workbook. It's a companion workbook that helps you get really clear on every step from confusion to conclusion. But in the book, I forget what page, but I'll let you know. I list the 21 top reasons couples divorce. And everybody thinks it's infidelity. It's like at the bottom of the list. But these here are the main reasons, and it might be a little small, but there are so many reasons why couples divorce. And statistically, there were 8.3 million divorces over the last decade till 2020. It's remarkable how many people get divorced and we don't realize it. The pandemic also caused an increase in divorce, 43%. Why? Anyone want to guess? Except we're stuck in the darn house together. Yes. So the elephant in the living room was now this daunting mess. You used to be able to tiptoe around the elephant because he could go golfing and she could go shopping with the girls. But now you're stuck in the house. Oh, and then you've got a homeschool. So that becomes a little bit more contentious. So we haven't seen it go back to the level prior, mostly because people are seeing a different perspective that life is short and I'm not willing to sacrifice a life that is not well lived. And if I'm living a life of misery, everybody's definition of misery is different. No. So who am I to say, oh, you should stay married? It's not that bad. Not that I do. Or any of us as a friend to mitigate outside influences. We have to be careful of taking in other people's ideas. But it's now a matter of, is this a statistic that's sticking around because of the pandemic, or is it lessening or increasing? It's only 2023, so we don't know. But because I'm in the trenches, to be honest, it's not decreasing. So I created Better Divorce Academy. It's actually called Better Divorce LLC, but I have Better Divorce Academy, Better Divorce Blueprint, Better Divorce Podcast, Better Divorce Blog, Better Divorce Summit. You see a little theme going here. I would have named it Best Divorce Academy, but the only best divorce is not to have one. And why an academy? Because there's a heck of a lot to learn. You got to get schooled in divorce if you're going to venture into it, or you're going to spend a ton of money and tie up your life and destroy your family, and you won't be able to go to your kids' weddings together. Trust me, 8.5 years, don't forget. I understand. So there's two things that I do to solve the problem. Number one, I'm a credentialed private mediator. People don't know what private mediation is typically. They say, oh, we mediated it and it failed. Well, unfortunately, it's a heavier book than I thought to lift weights more. So in private mediation, it's not a part of the litigated journey. There are 5 methods of divorce: DIY, mediation, collaboration, arbitration, and litigation. Private mediation is not a part of litigation. There is court-appointed mediation that is a part of litigation, but that's the kind you want to stay away from. Now, private mediation is where you work with someone like myself, where I'm a neutral party that's committed to work with the couple to help them facilitate a conversation and a solution and an agreement that will hold water in court to keep them out of litigating. No plaintiff, no defendant, no lawsuit. I hand that agreement, known as a memorandum of agreement or an MOA. There's a ton of acronyms in divorce. We hand that MOA to a transactional attorney, and in 30 to 60 days, the couple is divorced and they never have to step foot in the courtroom, ever. It's private, efficient, and so much less traumatic for the children and the family. Now, unfortunately, it takes 2 to tango. If one person says, see you in court, buddy, well, I can't privately mediate, but I can act as a certified divorce coach. And in those cases, I work with one of the parties. I hold their hand, lock arms with them, and walk through the fire step by step by step, and sometimes by step, every step of the way from confusion to conclusion. So they stop making emotional decisions and they start making wise decisions with dignity and grace. And they get through it in a shorter period of time with less contention, and they spend a lot less money. So those are the 2 modes of solutions for either private mediation or certified divorce coaching to keep people out of the litigated process. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-lawyer. I'm not anti-litigation. There are some cases that absolutely positively have to litigate. If there's domestic violence, if there's addiction issues or some sort of abuse, it's really important that we look for safety and security in those issues. But remember, it's only 3% of the cases. Most people go just because, well, what do you do when you have a problem? If you have a medical problem, you go to a doctor and you do what they tell you to do. If you have a financial problem, you go to the financial experts and you do what they tell you to do. If you've got a legal problem, you go to a lawyer and you do what they tell you to do, because isn't that what we're supposed to do? Right? Well, it's changing. there's the internet now. Now, don't believe me. Don't believe everything you read on the internet. But people are looking for alternative solutions now. People want a more efficient way, a more private way, a more just pleasant way of solving problems now. And the word is spreading. I just got a call yesterday from CNN, and they want to do a piece on me. They interviewed me yesterday for an hour and a half about the change that Better Divorce Academy is making in not only Atlanta, but the world. Well, the country. I'm hoping the world. I can't solve all the problems, but I'm trying. So we have clients in 43 states now, and it's making a difference. And I'm here to really make sure that everything I can do to make people know that there is an alternative. So I have an online course too. There's only one of me. I would love to clone myself to be able to have this solution, but it's happening. So I have the book, a workbook, the audio book for people that just want to put in the little earbuds and not have everybody know what they're listening to. And I have an online course that's self-paced from the very early stages of overwhelm and confusion all the way to changing your name in dating, like the afterlife, right? So it's the whole thing. It's really made a big difference. So I added that to the suite last year. These are just some testimonials. It's always good to know that, I'm not faking it. Right now, I've got 54 5-star reviews on my Google Maps. It's pretty new business, and it's really hard to get people to leave you a review about their divorce online publicly. So I could probably have 5,000, but the fact that I got 54 brave people to do it, it's been a challenge, but it's happening. So there are 5 things that we do if this is your takeaway. Empathy and understanding. You're not going to get that in the regular judicial system. Clear, transparent communication. Efficient, time-saving, cost transparency. You're not going to get that. The hourly rate of an attorney right now is $350 to $625. I know that's quite the range, but depending on where you live, it's about $175 to send an email. I'm not kidding. So unless you have disposable income that you don't care about, and even if you do, why would you waste it? It's silly. And accessibility. I give my clients one-on-one 24/7. They use Voxer, voice memo, email, phone, and a lot of people still love Zoom, although a lot of people have Zoom fatigue now. So I custom make it so that it works for them. I'm used to having the clicker. So this is a little bit of the podcast. I have almost 200 episodes. It's free. People can listen to me interview experts in all things divorce, everything, survival stories, success stories, you name it, it's there. So check out Better Divorce Podcast and Better Divorce blog. I didn't even know there was a ratings, but it's one of the top 100 divorce blogs. So what can you do to help? If you know anyone struggling, thinking, contemplating in any stage of divorce, from custody, modifications, there's so many things that need to be educated about it. So there's a QR code. You can learn more about my website, betterdivorceacademy.com. That will take you there. There's resources, ebooks, downloadables, podcast episodes, blogs, videos. I think about 50 videos. There's so much data there that can help people just get really clear so they can avoid getting stuck in the system. And last but not least, if you would like your very own copy of Better Divorce Blueprint, you can use that QR code for a free digital copy of the 307-page book and 197-page workbook. It's a companion workbook that goes with it. So thank you for your time. It has been an honor to be asked to speak. Yesterday, this was very impromptu, or the day before. I said, oh, let me look at my schedule. So between mediation and coaching, it is my life and my life's mission to change this. Don't let anyone be a part of the $50 billion industry. There is a better way.
All right. You might, I don't know if you want to hold the book or not.
I felt like I was in school. You know that feeling?
It's comforting, I know, to hold.
Yeah.
Paulette, you are very impressive. That was a great presentation. I know we had a presenter scheduled for today who bailed at the last minute. She wasn't quite ready, and Paulette jumped right in. Clearly, she was very prepared. Can you tell everybody why you were so prepared? I know you said normally you have like a 2-hour version of this. So
Yes, I do speak for many, many groups. I'm also the director of a company called Divorce Right. Sorry, I have to, I'm used to holding a
yeah,
stand still, Paulette. Divorce
you
Right
can
is the
remove that.
corporate solution to divorce. Better Divorce Academy is the personal solution to divorce. So I'm the director of coaching and case management for Divorce Right. I trained and vetted 60 divorce coaches that we match in employee EAP benefits so that they don't get fired. And 8 to 10% of employees quit because of divorce. And they lose about 40 to 50% productivity during the divorce. Why? Well, they've got a lot of other stuff to think about. They come in late, they leave early, they run to the bathroom with mascara running down their face. They're a mess. They've got a lot to think about. So Divorce Right is the corporate solution to divorce. And because of that, I do a lot of speaking for them, for ARAG, which is a legal insurance company, Hub International, Insperity, many different companies, and Society of Human Resource Management. It's called SHRM. So I usually speak for an hour or two. So he was like, I said, how many minutes do you need me to speak? He's like, I don't know, 5, 7, 8. I was like, okay, about that. Yeah. So no problem, but I just have to kind of like, suck it all into one. So
it's great. And I wanted everybody to know your level of experience. I don't want, if anybody has any questions, please raise your hand. The one thing I heard you say is we, and I'd like to know more about that, because then on the next slide, you said it was really just you, and it was for your online course. So
yes.
We, and what are your plans for growth here?
Thank you for asking that, Jason. I have a team of other professionals that work, shall we say, with or under Better Divorce Academy, because I have transactional attorneys all over the country. I'm not an attorney, nor do I pretend to be one. Some say I have my PhD in divorce, but that does not mean I have my PhD in the law. So I work with a team of other professionals, mental health, judicial. I work with CDREs, Certified Divorce Real Estate Experts. And if there's any realtors here, you should become a CDRE. You're going to be in my Rolodex. If there's any mortgage professionals here, you should become a CDLP, a Certified Divorce Lending Professional. There are so many, and if you're a financial expert, you should be a CDFA, a Certified Divorce Financial Analyst. I told you that divorce is an industry, right? Are you beginning to believe me? Yes. So the we is the team of other professionals that I pull in as needed, case by case.
You've got a lot going on. Like, you have like a whole empire set up. You already got the courses and getting interviewed by CNN. That's awesome. Not sure how we can help you. Seems like you're going.
Well, there's always something everybody can do.
But how is your social media presence, and how are you selling your online course?
Good question. I'm lucky enough to have a team. I have 3 professionals that work with me. They whipped together this slideshow in like 7 minutes yesterday, because I said, I need about 12 slides. Can you do that for me? Because I'm mediating and coaching so much. But I do okay. It's not my cup of tea. I do have about 13,000 on Instagram. I don't know. Oh, I do LinkedIn Lives every week, Thursdays from 1 to 1:30. If anyone wants to come on my LinkedIn Live, that brings in the Divorce Right, the B2B, right? The other companies. It's a double-edged sword, right? Social media. It's a love-hate relationship. I don't know. It's tough. I do find that most of clients come from happy clients. Testimonials are key in my world because of know, like, and trust. But I'm getting clients from Bend, Oregon, Niwot, Colorado. I didn't even know these towns existed. Like random places, like where do you live? Taos, New Mexico. I mean, this is far away from Atlanta, right? But I get a lot of people living in Fayetteville and Peachtree City and Noonan getting divorced. A lot. So it doesn't matter where people live. I want to spread the word. Social is a key, but I'm finding that the podcast and the blog really pulls in more people because they come to the website an average of 15 times before they schedule a consultation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just do you do a lot of one-on-one, like you actually spend your time talking with clients and stuff like that? And is that how you spend a lot of your time?
Yes. They want me.
Gotcha.
Yes. I sometimes my voice goes. It's a little raspy today. So to be honest, that's why I'm going to ultimately sell the business. But what I really want to do is franchise it. What I want every city in America to have is a better divorce. So it's on a billboard and you say, you know, the ones for the DUIs and the, you know, you got in a car accident, all those billboards with the lawyers, they're part of the problem. Not with law, but family law, but like that kind of thing. You got to know there's a solution, right? Be like, oh, I can save a ton of money. We don't want people to get in a car accident looking at the billboard, but the word is key, right? I want a franchise, but I'm not ready. I got a lot of work to do before we do that. It's like 3 to 5 years away. Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yes. I love it. Ask me. I love questions.
So the take away the stigma of divorce, how do you reach the audience of saying it can be a helpful tool for you not to get a divorce, to better educate yourself?
Well, there's always going to be a stigma about breaking up a marriage. I don't believe that we can erase the stigma based on culture. I mean, there are some places where divorce is illegal. You know, India, it's not looked at very fondly, and in the Muslim community too. There's other different cultures. And then you get the religious impact of, I mean, I grew up Catholic. Hello, Boston, Irish Catholic, English, you know, upbringing. And Catholic, I remember telling my parents when I was 12, why don't you two just get a divorce? They were fighting. I mean, what teenager doesn't say that to their parents when they're, you know, fighting? You're like, why don't you two just get a divorce? And they looked at me as if I was said, like I was Satan or something. I was like, well, you're always fighting. And they're like, we don't believe in that. I was like, okay, don't ever ask that question again. So you're right. There is always going to be a stigma, but I'm finding that it's lessening. I am finding that the younger generation is also not getting married as young as my generation. I'm almost 60. I was born in 64, the year of the Beatles. So the boomers, I'm the last year of the boomers, right? The last year. So it was unheard of. Like you just weren't supposed to talk about that. But it's changing now. I find that the more I teach and educate and have people understand that it's better to be in a marriage that is healthier and move forward with a new direction and co-parent wisely than it is to stay in an unhappy, dysfunctional marriage. There's always going to be a little bit of that, but it's mostly education. Yeah.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a digital marketer, I'm struggling because I feel like I want to, you said people visit your website 15 times before they reach out. So I immediately go
Average,
to like
yeah.
remarketing campaigns, right? Like they've been to your website. Well, let's remind them of you all the time. But what is that messaging? Because anything I could think of in my head makes it feel pro-divorce. And that's not your first
Correct.
step, right? Like you want to, hopefully there's a way around that.
It's a
But-
very nurturing invitation versus did you forget that you want to get a divorce?
Right.
Well, you came to the website 19 times. What's your problem?
Well, I
What are you waiting
wonder,
for?
you mentioned,
You know, we can't be doing that, right? Like,
right.
yeah.
I just, along those lines, and this is going back 10 years at this point, but when I was shopping for engagement rings, and then my girlfriend at the time would come over and, you know, I'd be finishing up my workday. So she'd sit on my lap and be all happy to see me, and the computer screen would be up, and I'd be like, oh my God, get off. Because there's like some ad that pops up on some other random website that was, you know, from Tiffany's. It was like following me around because they knew I was looking for engagement
Yeah.
rings. I'm like, well, you know,
Stalking
she's
you.
gonna wonder, right? So like the worst thing that could happen, I suppose, if somebody's got it in their minds, which you said could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 2 years to 10 years, right? But these ads pop up and I'm looking over her shoulder going, what are you searching for, right? But I think to go back to the digital marketing and retargeting, there is definitely an audience, literally that's what Meta calls it, an audience of people who are going through a divorce, not thinking about getting a divorce. And you could address those people more specifically to say there is a better way. Not that you would say this because it's very stalkerish, but we know you're going through something and we can help you make it easier, right?
Yes.
But there's a large audience of those people out there. I know someone watching this right now is
Yeah.
probably suffering through that exact thing. Like they're in it and they don't know what to do and they don't know how bad it could possibly get, but they want it to be easier. And now they have a resource. So I commend all the people who told you that you should help when initially your response was, I can't help you. I could barely survive.
Yeah.
You've obviously come out stronger on the other end. You're rocking it. Great.
There is a divorce every 13 seconds. So there's someone out there.
I have a quick question. My curiosity is how many men look for help?
I'm going to answer this way. I stupidly thought, because 70% of divorce is filed by women, that I should target women. So hence the pink and the butterfly. Silly me. I started getting phone calls and texts from dudes saying, I've heard really good things about you, but I looked at your website and it's really girly. Like, do you work with guys? And I'd be like, yeah, because I do. In my mediating, unless it's a gay couple, obviously there's one man and one woman, right? So 50% of my clients in mediation are men. But I rebranded the whole website. Everything is now steel gray and blue and teal and a little bit of orange. If you go to Better Divorce Academy, you're not going to see the pink. In fact, the book is being rebranded right now. It comes out in January with the matchy branding. So everything is consistent. But I made the mistake. I thought,
I would
sex
think
is
like
to me.
90% is women and, a little
It's-
bit of men.
Right now, I would say, and I only mediate about 6 cases a month. I've got it broken down into 3 sections: simple, standard, and super. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, how much it costs. It's a system. I have this leverage, strategize. I know exactly what I'm doing, which is why I can franchise it. But that's not coaching. That's mediation. With coaching, most of my clients are women. With mediation, 50-50 men and women. But I have to say, right now I have about 3 male coaching clients, which is, I don't know the percentage, but they do exist. Why? They don't understand how to screw up, just like women. We're all the same, right? We don't want to make mistakes in this. This is your children and your life and your finances you're talking about. We're talking about big stuff here. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question.
There you go.
Okay.
So my question is, because you said like you're not for divorce, but you will support in divorce. And on your website, do you have anything that is immediate? Because I'm looking at it and I don't necessarily see it, but do you have anything that's immediate that's talking about your love for marriage, like your love for marriage, your view on marriage, to encourage someone like, okay, if I'm talking to her, I'm not just set on getting a divorce, but I also feel good in my spirit that she's just not going to be like, oh, you want a divorce? Okay, let's go. But it's like, she loves marriage and she's for marriage. And how are you representing that on your website for someone who's like, I really still want to be married, but I might want to get a divorce. And I feel like talking to you is putting me on the tracks of divorce. Like, how are you presenting that on your website?
Yes, I call that the tipping point, right? Where there's the thinking doesn't mean you want to do it, right? Just because we think of something doesn't mean we've done it or we want to do it. I mean, how many times have we said, oh, I could kill so-and-so? But we don't. It's just an expression. So we'd all be in prison right now if we all, it's an expression. We're just like we say, oh, I love that song. And then the next day you say, I don't even like that song. So figure of speech is important. I have to focus on that a little bit more. I do believe I have 3 or 4 blog posts, and I've done a few episodes interviewed other marriage relationship professionals about saving marriages. And the the institution of marriage and believing in the institution of marriage. But I do also talk about the fact that I didn't go into my marriage. I met my husband, I was 17. I know. I married at 22. My wedding dress was pink. I looked like Glinda, the Good Witch. No, I really did. Like I came down in my little pink bubble. Like there was the fantasy, right? The I don't know if I want to call it an illusion, but that feeling that all young women have about what marriage feels like, the sanctity of it, the relationship. I didn't get married thinking, oh, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just get divorced. I don't know that anyone does, right? If I didn't believe in marriage, I wouldn't have got remarried. Yeah, my husband comes with me a lot, and he's a certified divorce lending professional. He's a mortgage broker. So we talk about that and we speak a lot together, but it's a great point, and I'm going to do that.
Thank you. I definitely think at the front of your website, you should have that. Like,
Mm,
you might not be ready for a divorce. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the beauty in marriage
mhm.
so that people aren't discouraged and just think that you're for divorce.
Sure.
Because, like you said, you remarried, you love marriage. So I think that if I was referring somebody who was having a hard time and they're like, oh, I don't know if I want a divorce, I would refer them to you, hoping that they could see the beauty in marriage
Mm,
and not just the word Better Divorce Academy. I'm going to help you, navigate a better divorce. But it's like, no, I want you to understand
mhm.
if this marriage is for you first. So seeing that on your website, like firsthand before it's like divorce, I think will be very beautiful.
It's a great comment, and I will add it to the website. In the
Yeah.
book, chapters 1, 2, and 3 are before,
Mm-hmm.
4, 5, and 6 are during, and 7 and 8 is after. So
Yeah.
in chapters 1, 2, and 3, I talk about that a lot,
Yeah.
but it's a deep dive. It's 307 pages. So in that aspect of the training, education, offer,
Mhm.
then you have the opportunity. But is
Yeah.
it enough for them to buy the book and realize,
Right.
oh, she's not pro-divorce, she's just
Right.
proactive, making
Yeah.
the marriage
Mhm.
healthy?
That's what I was saying. The website,
Yeah.
because if people are coming back like 12
Mm.
times, it's like, oh, well, I feel like I'm choosing divorce if I'm reaching out
Yeah.
to you. So,
Well,
yeah.
sometimes the hard fact is they are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm
Yeah.
not
for
trying to
sure.
give the jagged little pill, as Alanis Morissette says, but there is a hard lesson in accepting that the marriage is broken. There are
Mhm.
21 main reasons couples divorce, and if you've got 19 of them, I would have a hard time convincing anyone that they should stay married.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
but sometimes people want to see somebody else say you should fight
Yes, I agree.
because there might not be anybody around them.
I
So,
also
yeah.
would like to have some of the couples I've saved their marriage do
Mhm.
testimonials, but I
Yes.
haven't talked them into it yet.
Yes, that would be beautiful.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to air their intimate,
Yeah.
I might have to get some actors to pretend to be them, but then it
Yeah.
feels fake. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go down that road. That would be, maybe something.
But it
you
could be a real story just with some
True.
people. It's
Yeah.
not fake. It's real. It's happening.
It's
So
correct.
it's still
but
real.
actors, I mean, how many ads do we see on TV where we know those people aren't the real people? So I know. Yes.
I
No, you got
Yeah.
you're all
Okay.
it. Yeah.
First question was, do you, and if you had answered this, I'm sorry, I came in a little late. Do you have male therapists, or do you have people who are men who can speak to men? Because I know
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Men and women. Yes.
Okay, and then the
In
sec-
all states. I mean, men, attorneys, female attorneys, mental. Yeah.
got it. And you know what? I was here so long, I forgot my second question.
It'll
So-
come back. It'll come back. It'll come back.
So I was just wondering, from the viewpoint of your business model for the franchise, what is your, what are you looking for to be complete before you actually start the franchise model?
The rebrand of everything across the board, soup to nuts, being consistent. Right now, it's a little bit mushy with that. The systems are in place. I would also like to launch 2 other online courses. So it isn't just Better Divorce Blueprint, but I have one as far as encouraging the marriage to heal and try to, I don't want to use the word fix it, but manage it. And also one about divorcing high conflict people. I have a website and I do retreats also for women. in Belize, where I used to live. My next one is May 4th to the 10th. And you don't have to have gotten divorced to come, but it is mostly for women post transformation in their life. The cross branding of the online courses, the book, and all of the systems in play. Ultimately, the franchise model will be for attorneys that are burnt out, that want to be just mediators, understand the problem. And family law attorneys also, I only know this because they're a lot of my good friends, at the very high divorce rate. And they get sick easily. It's a very high stress career. So for mediators, they can step into an already successful business. They have a business model made from A to Z. It is done for you. It's a little bit of also understanding the privacy issues and understanding the not crossing into giving legal advice. So I do not give legal advice. I do not give financial advice. It's all in my contracts. Everything is there, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice. I'm not an attorney. I don't give legal advice. You see the theme, but the systems in play on the back end is more what I'm working on now. Franchising is a whole brave world. Yeah. Yes, it is, but I think it'll be worth it.
I remember my second question.
Good.
And if I missed it, I apologize. Do you have, because I unfortunately know a few people who've gotten divorced and they didn't get the opportunity to meet with you. And
I
think that would
know.
have definitely helped the situation. Do you have workbooks and things that start just at the end, like for people who have already gotten divorced? I know you have workbooks and stuff that work the whole way through, but like just the end?
Yes, I work with people at any entry point.
Okay.
One thing I'm adding now too is the 9 entry points of divorce. I have this down to a science. There are 9 entry points of when people decide to divorce or where they're coming from. Example, mothers with small children, right? That overwhelm of what about the kids and how are we going to do this? Business owners, they own a business together. We can't get divorced. We own a business together, that kind of thing. So there's all different entry points and there's about 9 and a lead for each one.
Thank you.
But absolutely, I work with people at any point through the process. After a lot of it is, and chapter 7 and 8 of the book cover all that.
And the retreat did sound, I heard.
Yes, I love to do the retreat. The landing page for that, are you ready? AfterTheNarcissist.com. I thought you'd get you to laugh. AfterTheNarcissist.com is the landing page for all my retreats, because typically that's the word I hear women and men say a lot. He's such a narcissist. She's such a narcissist. So we're just going to go with it. Not diagnosing.
I'd like to ask,
Yes.
how do you set your fee and
Mm.
what would that be like as an example?
Perfect. I decided when I knew in my heart I needed to create Better Divorce Academy that I would not charge hourly. Why? Because people that go through divorce have hourly rate trauma. I mean that. I'm going to trademark that. Hourly rate trauma. As soon they're like, how much do you charge? And I'm like, I don't charge hourly. Deep breath. Let's come up for air. Because they're always thinking, okay, well, my attorney is $575 an hour, or $400 and whatever dollars an hour. And I've been on your phone and I just spent, it's overwhelming to them. They get in this fear cycle, right? Of I can't get off the loop. So I don't charge hourly. I do consultations and what I call assessments that are a fee, but it's not an hourly. I'm not a clock watcher. So if somebody needs me to assess their situation and they're not a client, it's like an introduction. I charge $299 for that. And they have 90 minutes to 2 hours of my time for that. Some people use every minute. Some people are like, okay, great, that was awesome. But they have a parameter. So that's the only hourly structure, or shall we say fee structure I have. The rest is broken down into time. So I look at a case and I assess it and I say, how long do I think they need me, or how long do they think they need me, right? And I look at it about the 5 methods of divorce. Are they going to DIY it? Can they mediate? Are they going to collaborate, arbitrate, or litigate? And based on those 5 factors, I say 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or unlimited. And each of that had a pay structure. It's just a flat rate. Mediation is broken down into 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months. And that's based on, are they cohabitating? Do they talk to each other? You know, how in it to win it are they? How committed are they to avoiding litigation? Yeah. Did that answer?
That's really great. Well, you guys are all welcome to stay and hang out, network, socialize as long as you want. But like I said, I've got to get out of here. Pretty sure I just missed the shotgun start to the
Don't
tournament.
do that.
No, it's all good. They're not waiting on me, believe me. They are the stronger players here. Anyway, thank you guys all for coming out again this morning. We'll see you back here next Wednesday.
Thank
Same
you.
time, maybe a little earlier. I'd like to get started at 9 o'clock if we could. So if you guys want to keep that in mind, if it's possible. If not, and like 9:15 is the time that everybody needs us to start, then we should probably take a survey and I can reshift my thinking. But makes me nervous when it's like 5 to 9 and not everybody's here yet. So anyway, just putting that out there. Anyway, Paulette, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
I didn't carry it up here with me, but I've got a 1 million cups mug to present to you.
Thank
And what I should have done this at the beginning, and I apologize, but can I see a show of hands of first timers? We have a gift for you, assuming that you use the QR code to check in. I've got a notebook and a pen, which you could have been using to take notes this whole time. So my apologies. But we hope to see you carrying it around town. I have to say, the other day I was at Rome, and they have these like frosted windows at the head level. So all I saw walking down the hallway was an orange notebook. I was like, oh, who's that? Who's that? Who's that from the community? It was really exciting. So, and then other people just save it to bring with them to this event specifically. So it's only 1 million cups of notes. Either way, I love it. And we hope to see you back here. And that's it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks so much for your enthusiasm and great questions.